Good morning, guys. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. I wanted to make a little video about some motivating thoughts and just opinions that I think can really be helpful for you guys as we move into the new year, as we start to wrap up probably one of the most chaotic and uncertain and crazy years of all of our lives. Obviously, we need to kind of do a little bit of a fresh reset. Definitely, some of us need to really sort of dig deep and go a little bit harder next year. This year, obviously, threw a lot of us off of our planned paths that we had for ourselves, which is okay. It's kind of the whole thing that happens with life. But I know a lot of you guys really want to get more excited and determined and focused on your sync licensing goals. And a lot of you guys were sort of thrown off uh, those goals this year, just for all the stuff with COVID and everything that's going on with the economy and all that crazy stuff. So I want to just welcome you guys to the stream. Glad you guys are with me this morning. What I want to talk about is motivation for 2021. And basically what I want you to get across from this is just to get back up. We all feel defeated at times. We all get distracted. We all get pushed off of our course. We all question whether or not we have a future. We all question whether or not we have security, whether or not there's going to be money for us in the future, whether or not we're going to get accepted, all those kind of things. So every single one of us deals with these fears and uncertainties in some form or another. And that's not a bad thing. That's not something we should feel shameful about, or that we should feel like there's something wrong with us, or that we feel like other people don't deal with that. We're the only ones that have these sort of struggles and fears. No, every single person does. The most successful sync licensing producer or just musician you know of has self-doubt, has fears, has uncertainties. Okay. The important thing is right there. Just get back up. That's all that matters. Okay. We're all going to fall. We're all going to feel defeated. We're all going to feel like things don't always work out for us. And you can't really control that. That's just going to happen from time to time in your life. But the most important thing is that you have some sort of a system or a way or a reminder that this is just temporary. This feeling of uncertainty, this fear, this, not sure if this is going to work out for me. These are all temporary sensations and fears that are all imagining a potential future. And it's really actually not what's happening right now. It's actually us sort of living in a fantasy future that's horrible and dystopic. But if we can kind of remember this, just get back up. Remember that this is just us. We got knocked off the horse, right? And the only thing I got to do once I get knocked off is get back up. That's all I really have to do. This topic really kind of came in lately because I've been having a lot of emails actually with former students of mine. So I decided to send out an email to a lot of the former students that used to be in Sync Academy, Sync Edge, or in the Syndicate and are just no longer in the community. And I'm just curious, what's going on with them? Are they still doing sync licensing? Are they not doing sync licensing? So I just want to get a finger on the pulse of what's happening, with everybody's lives. And I found that of all the responses that I got, and I got a lot, I've been tied down in email world for the last, couple of days, which is really cool. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's really, it's just really cool to reconnect with a lot of people. I'm like, oh man, I'm so glad you responded. I remember you, and that, those kind of cool feelings, nostalgia feelings of like, when I first launched my service in 2017, 2018, I still have people that are reaching out to me actually and letting me know how they're doing. But I noticed that pretty much everybody falls into three buckets, three different categories. The first one was the one I loved hearing from the most, is the producers that are still going for it, still in sync licensing, still partnering with libraries. And either they have some successes or they're not having a lot of successes, but they feel really encouraged and motivated, and they just have a positive attitude about it. And they're just working. They're basically just hustling and pushing forward. So that was the first one. Those are always great to get. The second one were ones that were not exactly going 100% still with sync licensing. They still had some music into a library or two, but they haven't been doing it actively. But their attitude was still positive. They still remembered that, when they were active and they were getting placements and were getting acceptances, that things were pretty much working out fairly well. And they just know that they take the responsibility that they've sort of kind of gone to sleep a little bit, haven't been as active, and that's why things have sort of been stagnant a little bit. But I can just see and read in their email that they still have a really positive attitude, and they are willing to get back up on the horse if they so choose to do that. The third is obviously the most unfortunate, and that is those that have gotten, minimal amounts of success, getting accepted or something, or maybe none. But that's not what's more important. The most important thing with them is that they have this bitter, negative, and victim mentality about it, right? And I can hear it. I mean, I can just feel the bitterness in their email back, that it was always somebody else's fault. Somebody didn't give them a shot. Too much competition. It's not fair. You name it, all the excuses, I'm hearing all of them. Okay. And so of those three different types of producers, you can kind of guess which ones are going to do really great in life with or without sync licensing. Whether or not sync licensing is going to be what they do ultimately for the rest of their lives, you can just see and feel that sort of energy of, I can do this, and I take responsibility for the fact that I haven't been doing it recently, but I know that maybe with the new year, I want to get back into things. So with that kind of an attitude, they're basically doing this. Okay. They're getting back up, right? They're realizing that they might feel a little defeated. They're not getting the results that they want, but they know that they can take responsibility and they can change. They can actually make something happen for themselves. And they're not going to sit around and just complain about it and think that it's somebody else's job to deliver them results or success or guarantee things to happen for them. They know that they have to take responsibility for their own lives and for their own careers. And that's really the thing that I want you guys to basically take forward, with or without sync licensing. Again, if you decide that after a couple of months or maybe a year or two, sync licensing just wasn't the right fit for you, I hope maybe one thing you can take from this is just this belief that you are in control of your life, right? That you are not a victim of anything. Bad things happen to you. I'm not saying that, you'll always get a fair outcome or that you're always going to get the placements or you'll always get accepted by libraries. I mean, that's not going to happen, right? I'm not going to lie to you guys. You're going to have disappointments. You're going to have defeats. You're going to feel crushed, utterly crushed many times. I know that I did. But that's baked into the cake. Like that's just part of being a human being. I keep knocking over my water bottle here. Maybe I should not put it right next to my hand. How about that? And anyway, so that's just all baked into the cake. We all have to deal with that kind of stuff. So what can you do? Well, you can't change that. You can't change the fact that you're going to get passed over, that you won't get all the custom gigs, that you won't always get accepted by a library, that you won't always get the placement, right? So you can't do much about that. So what can you do? Attitude. That's all you can do, right? You can change how you perceive things. You can change how you frame things. You can change how you react to things. That's all you can control. And I shouldn't even say that's all, because that is a huge chunk of your life's happiness and success is that. So it's not like all, it's not like a tiny little thing that you can tweak in your life. It is literally the big knob in life that you can actually crank up to wherever you need it to be to get yourself back on the horse and to get yourself back motivated. It's one of the big things and one of the big reasons why I cover this stuff in our Sync Psych 101 series in Sync Academy, because your perspective, your mindset, how you're thinking about things, how you're framing things, how you think about yourself, how you talk to yourself, these are not small little tiny issues that maybe you should watch a tutorial or two about and then get back to just making music. I really do think this is something that people need to spend a serious amount of time focusing on, because it really is true that if you first believe and decide that you're going to succeed and that you're going to do well at this, it's weird. You might not believe me, especially if you're not deep into sync licensing yet, but all the hows and the details of how to actually get to where you want to go, they all take care of themselves in due time, right? As you get through different parts of your career and you run into these different obstacles and these challenges, if you have the belief in your backpack that says, I'm going to push forward, it doesn't matter, like this is what I want to do. It doesn't matter how big that obstacle is, how challenging it seems, you will be able to find the answers to get over it, around it, bypass it, whatever you need to do to get through it, and realize that that was not something that you shouldn't have experienced. It was actually something that strengthened you and got you even deeper into your own strength, right? To give you even more resolve moving forward into your career. So getting that mindset right is pretty much everything. Because all the little details, anybody can learn the little details, how to produce, how to mix, how to master. It takes work to get good at that stuff, but anybody can pretty much learn how to do that kind of stuff. But if you're trying to learn all these technical skills, but in the back of your mind, you're self-sabotaging yourself and you just don't think it's going to work out for you and you're carrying around this fear, you can see for yourself, how is that ever going to work out for you? Because you are definitely going to run into problems. You're going to definitely run into issues and challenges. And if you have this self-defeating motor behind you that's basically working against you, it's not going to give you the energy to push through those things, right? So that's why this stuff is so, so important to kind of get your mind right and get your mindset right. So for those of you that are in Sync Academy and you have not watched those Sync Psych tutorials, you are literally shooting yourself in the foot. You are literally setting yourself up for massive problems down the road. Take the holiday couple of weeks here where we got a little bit of downtime. Libraries are pretty much taking some time off. Everybody's sort of taking a little snoozer right now. Get your mindset right for the new year, especially with the new year coming around. It's sort of that good excuse to kind of make some changes in your life and get some new habits under your belt. Go for it, okay? And go watch those tutorials. I haven't seen a lot of people diving into those tutorials in Sync Academy, but of the ones that do dive into it, the feedback I get is 10 out of 10. People are just saying it's absolutely already delivering incredible results for them. So if you are a Sync Academy member and you're not watching those tutorials, you are literally not getting your money's worth. You are not getting what you paid for. And I want you to start getting your money's worth. And I want you to really to dive into everything that you have to have at in our platform. Okay. So let me go ahead and look at some of your comments and maybe some of your questions here, and we'll see what's going on. So Panufo saying lots of love from fellow members and great musicians, crickets from the libraries. Yeah, and it depends, man. I don't know if you mean like recently you're having some crickets from the libraries. That might be a holiday issue, but it also could be that, again, find me a sync licensing producer that didn't get crickets from a library. I've got them. Everybody I know that's submitted to something has been ignored. So you're definitely in good company here. It sucks. I'm not saying I'm not trying to make light of the fact that that feels really terrible to be ignored, and to get nothing from what you pitched to, but just know that you're in good company. Everybody feels that at some point in their career, man. All right. Soul Music. I had to put my Sync Academy account on pause due to money, but I'm halfway done with my album and saving for Sync Edge. You taught me so much and I appreciate it so much. Thank you, Jesse. You're welcome, man. And I'm glad that you're still working. So with or without Sync Academy or Sync Edge, the fact that you're just pushing forward and working, man, that says a lot about your work ethic and about your motivation. So that's great. You're getting back on the horse and you're just getting back up, man. So that's really cool to see. All right, Alex, I'm new. How much for Academy? Right now, Alex, the Academy is $19.99 a month, but just be aware that on January 1st, it will increase to $29.99 a month. So I'm actually having a rate increase for all of my services starting January 1st of 2021. Reason being, there's so much more content now than there ever was when people first signed up and joined. So you're getting access to a lot more powerful information. So, but the good news is that I never raise rates on any existing members. So if you guys are in Academy and you're panicking, oh my gosh, my rates are going to go up. No. Big disclaimer here, okay? If you are signed up with Sync Academy, even under my first initial discounted rate, which was $9.99. I have never raised rates on any of you guys that have been subscribed with me from the very beginning. And those of you that have a $19.99 deal or you're signed up with the bundle package, which is $29.99, nothing's getting raised. Okay. If you have an existing membership, an existing subscription, I never raise membership rates on anybody. It always stays with whatever you signed up as. Okay. But that means, Alex, if you wanted to sign up and get that $19.99 rate that we have now, you do need to join before January 1st. After that, it does raise up the $10 there. All right, Mark, sorry. First of all, I have to apologize for disappearing on Sync Academy. I had to quit my my day job first because this job drained my energy. Good to hear your voice again. Awesome, man. Hey, dude, it happens. Like, again, as I said in the beginning of this video, everybody falls off the horse, right? And you had a little moment of feeling defeated, kind of knocked down. Don't beat yourself up for that. Lord knows you probably do enough of that, right? You don't need to beat yourself up for feeling a little bit bummed out and not being exactly where you want to be in your career. The important thing right now, man, just pull yourself back up, push yourself back up, whatever you got to do to get yourself back on the horse. That's it, right? And if you can really be kind to yourself right now, especially when you feel defeated, that helps you even more to kind of push yourself back up. So, one of the things that I talk about in those Sync Psych tutorials is about being kind to yourself and having kind self-talk, because I'm guilty of this in my life. I am really, I have a history of being really harsh on myself and being really cruel to myself when I make mistakes, when I don't live up to my potential, all those kind of things. And that is literally the last thing you need when you're feeling already bummed out and sort of on the ground, is you're basically like beating yourself up while you're already down. So we don't need that, man. We need to be nice to ourselves for sure. All right, Mark, priceless, Alex, not literally, but the knowledge and community Sync Academy provides is incomparable to anything else out there. It can truly take you to the next level. Oh, no, thanks, Mark. I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you're getting that much value. Really cool to see that. All right, Marthy, what's going on? Welcome. John, let's see, hit a dead end, but constantly writing and recording, work full-time plus music and living paycheck to paycheck. Unfortunately, can't renew my site. I think that's what you said. Is that a problem? Well, if you're pitching to libraries, again, having a customized website, I think, is obviously the smartest path to go forward. It's not a complete necessary thing. You can get accepted. I know there are producers that do get accepted by submitting a SoundCloud link or a playlist or something like that. It can obviously be done. It's just the reason why I say your website is probably the best way to go about it. Is it's basically like you get to control the first impression, right? Because they don't get to see you face to face and they're just reading an email. But when they click on that link and it looks professional, sleek, it's easy to navigate, they just immediately start to associate you with a professional producer, right? And if you send them to just SoundCloud or something else, and there's just tons of tracks, and it's SoundCloud's website, which has ads all over the place, and it's just a little bit messier. That's all I'm saying. It's a little bit messier, and it's the free version. It just puts your brand down a couple of ticks in their eyes. So I'm not saying it's impossible. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's your music. If your music is hot, super quality, very licensable, libraries will jump all over it. They don't care really where it's going to be housed. But if you want to put on that suit and tie to kind of increase your chances, that's what I love. I love putting the chances and the odds in my favor. Having your own website is definitely something I would try to keep up there. So, and yes, Alex, you're asking about, can you sign up now and get $19.99? Yes, if you sign up now before January 1st, you would get that rate, and that would be locked in forever as long as you keep your subscription active. If you cancel and come back, you would have to pay whatever the current rate is at that time. JI, hey Jesse, could you talk a bit about your early days and how to keep morale up in the face of disappointment? I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I definitely would encourage you guys to watch my video on my channel called I think Journey of My Success, or Journey. Just go to my YouTube channel and type in Journey. And I think you'll find that I have about a 30-minute video where I basically talk to you guys about my entire history, how I got started, how I was in a band. We thought we were going to be the next, Fall Out Boy, Linkin Park. Didn't happen. But in that process, discovered sync licensing and got into it, and got completely disappointing royalty statements and passed over for custom jobs, and rejected by libraries, and had the entire album sit on the shelves of libraries. I mean, you name it, everything you guys have gone through, I've been through. So I'm not going to go through all that. It's a really long story. There's a lot of great stuff in there, though. So definitely just check out, I think it's my journey into sync licensing. Maybe that's what it was called. So check that out, man. Panufo, I joined after you stopped doing live critiques. Think you'll ever do another? I think you're talking about my old live critiques I did on my YouTube channel. That just takes a lot of time and energy from me. So these days, obviously now that I'm a father and I've got a newborn, probably not seeing that coming here on my YouTube channel. I still do obviously the open reviews with my Syndicate group, but that right now we don't have any open spots for that. I'll probably open up some in January. But no, I'm not going to probably do any of those sort of live critiques here on my channel anytime soon. That's just something I don't have too much time for these days, unfortunately. All right. My Mad Science. Do you think there's a future in music licensing for VR? I would love to be a part of some kind of interactive VR music experience someday. Oh, absolutely. I've been talking about that for 2 years now. I have videos on my channel actually talking about that. So absolutely, there are definitely some opportunities for it. I think at this point, it's still kind of like categorized as a video game placement. So you're basically going to be getting probably just a one-time fee. There's no, I don't think, any back-end royalties associated with VR content at this time. But it absolutely can be a huge, I think it'll literally be how big social media is. It will be the next version of that on steroids. I really do think that people will migrate to a VR world in some form or another. Once the social media era sort of starts to come to an end, it'll obviously still be a social media experience in VR, but I really do see that as the future of everything, is that people are going to go to these virtual worlds and virtual experiences, which, just like social media, great things can come from that. Terrible things can come from that. We are obviously seeing all that play out right now. So it's just a tool. It's just a technology. We shouldn't be like saying it's evil and awful. Social media is not evil and awful, but it's also not good and great. It's a tool, right? Fire, since the beginning of time, has been a tool. You can cook your meat with it, which is great, or you can burn down your neighbor's house with it, which is terrible. So it's just a tool. It's neutral, but how you use it is basically what's going to determine how it's how it plays out basically for us. So, all right. Chris, appreciate all the great listens, and I've been applying them to my music and production. Is there any way to join the Syndicate group if I didn't join when I signed up? So how I'm doing it these days, Chris, is I'm only allowing those members that are already in Sync Academy or Sync Edge to apply to join the Syndicate, and I'm only doing very limited open enrollment periods now. So before, I used to have just like an open link, and as long as we had spots, you could just join us in the Syndicate. I think with my newborn here, and with general sort of life direction for myself, I'm really trying to slim down the number of people that I'm giving the feedback to, the opportunities to. I want to kind of minimize my workload. I do feel like I've kind of overdone it a little bit. So I'm definitely intentionally right now, this year, I think I only opened up the Syndicate twice, and that's sort of unusual. This year in 2021, I will probably have an opening in January. And that might be the only one I do for the entire year. I haven't really decided that yet, but it might be just the only one I do. and just to keep those numbers a little bit more manageable and smaller. But we still have our 2 library partners that are in there with us. And then I have a library that I obviously help us secure music for as well. We have those open reviews, so you can post your track and I give you guys reviews, video reviews. And then we have the sync contest where there's actually cash prizes where we do sort of like simulated briefs where you basically need to follow along with a brief. And then I do the reviews of the ones who win. And then there's obviously a cash prize for those who actually I feel are the best suited for those opportunities. So hang tight. I will definitely send out an email and notification on Sync Academy and Sync Edge in January if you guys want to check that out. So. All right, JMJ5, congrats on the new edition. Thanks, man. I finished a bunch of new tracks and looking to drop an EP. Is that recommended as I'm looking to also submit music for syncing? I know that some look for exclusives. It depends. Some libraries are cool with your music being out there, you know, to the public and being on Spotify and iTunes and whatever, wherever else it is. But others are not cool with that. So basically what I would do is when you pitch to a library, just be honest and transparent with them and let them know this is the situation that I'm in. I'm working as an artist and I'm putting my music out there. So it does exist in public, but I would give you guys exclusive rights to distribute it for TV film libraries, for TV film placements. Some libraries are totally cool with that, especially they love your music. If they're lukewarm about your music, they're not too excited about it, they probably won't accept it anyway. So hopefully you got some really hot stuff that can really work for them, but just ask them for sure. Levon, what's up, man? I'm finding in the music writing process, I keep wanting to be a bit experimental. Does that ever fly with libraries? If not, how do you be more rigid and still enjoy the writing process? That's a great question, Levon. No, being experimental in sync licensing usually doesn't work out. I've had members who try to do different time signatures. They're trying to cram different genres together, but too many of them pretty much. The reason being is that we make what's called production music in this industry. So what is that? What is production music? Why don't we just say we make music? Production music is meant for production, TV shows, commercials, films, trailers, right? If you've ever watched any piece of content, you know that the music provides a service. It provides a function, right? It's got to be useful. So if you get really experimental and we have kind of wild key changes and weird chord progressions and really complex, crazy drums, what service, what is that? What value is that bringing to a TV show, like a scene, if it's a background placement? If there's a scene that needs a lot of chaos and experimentation, right? Maybe somebody's tripping out on acid or something like that. Sure, that could be a useful use for that. But how many of those scenes do you see on TV that need experimental music to serve it? Not very many. So watch TV. That would be the first thing I would say, Levon. Watch TV. Listen to the kinds of music you hear getting placed. Listen to the emotions. And what I would say in terms of how do you be more rigid, get a reference track. So if you're a rock producer, go to a library, find a library you want to submit to, go check out the music they've already accepted, get a rock track, find it. You're not going to probably be able to download it, of course, but at least have it up on your, other window while you're producing and constantly reference your track versus theirs. What is yours doing that theirs isn't doing? What is theirs doing that yours isn't doing? And just get a reference track. That's how you're going to make sure that you stay within a box, but you can still be creative. And it's a tricky thing. This is why some producers don't find sync licensing a very rewarding, fulfilling place, because they just have this need to be just completely free form. I don't want to follow any rules. I don't want anybody to tell me how to do this. I just want to do it myself. Okay, great. Sync licensing probably won't be a good fit for those kind of producers. You do need to fit into some boxes. You do need to categorize yourself appropriately, and you need to market yourself and market your music so that things really do land in a specific place. So anyways, hope that helps, man. Hang in there. All right. How much is the Syndicate? The Syndicate is $97 a month, and that's on top of whatever you're paying if you're in Sync Academy or Sync Edge. So it is a separate service, and it's basically my inner circle mentorship group. It's the closest, if you want to get closer to me in terms of getting my feedback on your tracks and getting opportunities and getting some coaching and some sort of one-on-one time with me, it is the way to do that. And what's the difference between Academy and the Syndicate? So the Academy is essentially a private social network platform. Imagine Facebook with no ads and no political talk. Okay. So first of all, we take off all the problems with Facebook, and it's only geared towards sync licensing. So we have 120 hours of tutorials covering everything from the business aspects of this to the technical aspects to the psychological aspects of it. So basically everything you need to know to really succeed and thrive in this business. And there's a place where you can submit your tracks to get peer reviewed feedback on your tracks. So you can get some feedback, just not my feedback if you're just in the Academy, but you can get a lot of great helpful feedback from other members. And And it's a networking platform. So you can collaborate with other people if you want to collaborate and start working on an album together. If you're confused about something and you want to just post a question, you can post it and people will answer and help you out. I will as well. I'm very active on the platform. So imagine having your own personal sort of like just, helpful community whenever you feel bummed out, confused, unsure about what to do. So that's what it's basically for, is to keep you motivated, keep you educated, and to keep you on track. And the Syndicate, of course, as I just explained, is a private group within Sync Academy. And that's where basically I'm providing some direct one-on-one mentorship for those of you that feel that you want to get that. Okay. So that's what I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate your time and attention. And I will get off of here and let you guys get back to your productive days, hopefully, making some great, awesome music. And we'll talk to you guys next week on Monday. Have a fantastic rest of your week, guys, and we'll talk soon.